We had heard rumors about the existence of a distribution center that was said to be in central Tennessee. By piecing together the information that we had, we calculated the site was about 60 miles southeast of Nashville. We left Grand Haven on September 28th and made steady progress south, by traveling along the old I-65. Large portions of the interstate were destroyed around Indianapolis, Bowling Green, and Nashville, so we needed to use the local roads to travel through those areas. As we neared the Tennessee border, we started seeing graffiti that alluded to a road gang called the Red Reapers. The locals that we spoke with told us that the group was composed of hundreds of well-supplied miscreants that prowled the highways in search of weary travelers to rob and murder. One afternoon, while we were traveling near Manchester, Tennessee, we heard the noise of hundreds of engines whining in the distance, and they appeared to be headed our way. This group was too large for us to confront. We determined that we only had one chance to escape. We would have to play hide and seek in the back roads and alleys of the nearby town of Manchester. We had to put our survival and mechanical skills to the test to hide from the devilish Red Reaper gang. After a week of playing hide and seek, the Red Reapers finally moved on. Soon after, we located the distribution center and took steps to hide its existence from any prying eyes.
All right, we're going to begin turn 3 with the effects phase. And we do have one item that can be addressed in the effects phase, and that's our special faction perk called River Traders. And that allows us to draw a spoils card, and we can purchase it for 1/2 its value in salvage coins. And this is an event called Conscription. And it says immediately discard and draw 6 character cards, select 4 and discard the rest. They may be swapped with current party members or placed into your town roster. That's going to cost us 1/2 of 5 salvage coins, so that would be rounded up to 3. Well, that's definitely worth 3 salvage coins, and we'll do that. All right, we'll take a look at those 6 character cards, and we'll be able to keep 4 of these. Here's the first one. First one is Annabelle, Cybernetic AI and Sleeper Agent. Very strong combat capabilities and very strong survival, mechanical. That's a good character. We're definitely going to be keeping one of that one, I would believe. Next one is Max Gibson, Wasteland Vigilante. He is pretty good across the board in his skills, and he has a special chain, or I should say link event. Sawed-off shotgun or handgun gives him +3 to his combat, so that's pretty good. Next is Nina Saxon, a caddy veterinarian. And she's pretty good with medical and with technical. And her link ability is doubles medical skill bonuses, may be used twice before discarding. And that's if medical equipment bonus. It's interesting. And then we have Dominic Sinclair, Herculean Bouncer. He has excellent health statistic of 9. He can take up to 9 wounds, 8 combat. Diplomacy of 7. He's pretty decent. A melee weapon gives him a +3 for his link. And then we have Monty Reese, a gamer. He's got good, he can tote a lot of material. He's good on technical abilities and on mechanics, not so much on anything else. And then we've got Dante Slade, Heroic Biker. He offers a +1 for movement and 8 mechanical. So he's pretty decent too. Well, we'll make our selection. We'll keep 4 of the 6. Well, looking at them in totality, I think we're going to get rid of the probably the 3rd and the 6th. So those 2 characters we're going to get rid of. That'll be Nina Saxon and Monty Reese. We'll get rid of those 2, and then we'll decide if we're going to use the others for direct replacement into the group or if we'll keep them in the town roster. Well, I've looked through those characters, and I think I'm going to keep the group I have for the moment. So these character cards I'm going to place in the town roster. I was going to make a substitution, Annabelle for Paul Bailey, but if you examine Annabelle a little closer, it says if a taskmaster encounter or mission is drawn or attempted by your party, discard Annabelle and her equipment. Then raise each skill check by 2. So she's kind of a specialized character. I guess you don't get nothing for nothing. But we'll put her and the others in the town roster for now. Next is our town business phase, and we'll start with the deal. Each player receives 1 action card. And that card's revealed to be mechanically inclined. Play during the party exploits phase. Any party or character gains 2 successes towards a single mechanical skill check. Has a value of 1. Okay, that's great. We'll add that to our total of cards. Incidentally, there is a hand limit of 7 action cards that you can have in your hand. We have a total of 6 right now. We'll move on to the resource production phase, and we're going to receive town health and salvage coins from our production. In this case, we have +2 town health and 4 salvage coins. That raises us up to 11 salvage. And our town health will increase from 39 to 41. Next is the auction house phase, and we're able to draw 3 spoils cards, and we can purchase any of those that we want for the listed price. Those cards include a vehicle police interceptor, that's 19 value, a heavy-duty flashlight for 12, also acts as a blunt and melee weapon, and finally a ranged weapon, an assault rifle, a 5.56 millimeter assault rifle. But unfortunately all of those exceed the number of salvage tokens that we have, so those will be discarded. Now it's our town events chart roll. I'll bring the chart up on the screen. We're going to roll a d10 and find out what happens. The roll is a 9, and that says we lose 1 prestige and 2 town health. That'll reduce our prestige down to 3. And town health back down to 39. That's unfortunate. And now we're going to make our rolls on the opposing faction town events chart. We'll start with the Coalition of the Black Angel. And they rolled a 10. That's going to gain them 8 town health and 5 prestige. That'll move their prestige up from 2 up to 7. And their town health from 33 up to 41. So right now we're trailing on both of the tracks. That's not good. And there's also going to be a secondary event. We're supposed to roll a d6 and find out the result. The roll is a 2, and that means that we lose the last town technology that we equipped, and all effects apply. So that means we're going to lose our machinist shop, and that's also going to cost us 5 town health and 1 prestige, unfortunately. That moves our prestige down to 2 and our town health to 34, so that was a terrible result for us. And now we'll make our next roll. That'll be for the syndicate. And the syndicate also rolled a 10. So they're going to gain 8 town health and 5 prestige. That's going to move the syndicate's prestige up to 14. And that's also going to move their town health up to 51. So we're in really bad shape now. Those were terrible rolls for us, 2 10s in a row. Now one advantage we have is the secondary event will not kick in. We're limited because we're playing a moderate difficulty level to only 1 secondary effect per turn. So that will end this phase. And now we move on to the financial period. The first step is to sell. We're able to sell spoils and action cards for salvage coins. And I'm going to sell that classic all-American car for a total of 19. That'll get us some revenue at least. That will boost us up to a total of 30 salvage. We'll move on to the purchase segment, and that's where we're able to buy town technologies. And I think I'm going to repurchase that machinist shop that was destroyed during the previous segment. That'll cost us all of our salvage coins, all 30 of them, but we're going to recoup at least our 5 town health and 1 prestige. And that puts us back to a prestige level of 3 and a town health of 39. We're still in 3rd place on both of those categories. And now we'll move on to the party exploits phase. And our party token right now is currently on a resource location. So we're going to do a resource deed and see if we can acquire control of those resources. And we'll draw a plains encounter and see what we're up against. And that one is listed as Berserk Giant Grizzly, Wild Animals. Your band is jarred awake by the crashing of dried branches from the thicket. Within moments, a gargantuan grizzly bear lopes into the center of camp. Regarding you momentarily with its beady, bloodshot eyes, it lets forth a long, ferocious roar. Roaring, its massive frame towers several feet above you. Hypnotized by its long yellow fangs and putrid breath, you manage to dodge the first swipe of its enormous claws and dive for your melee weapons. Alright, well, we're going to gain 3 salvage to start out with, so we'll get those coins first. That gives us a total of 3 salvage. And now we're going to have to do a melee only test, so that means we're going to only be able to use melee weapons in the calculation. No ranged weapons. And we're going to make our skill check roll. And there's our roll, and we'll assign that to the character crowns. And now we're only able to add weapons that have a melee symbol next to them to calculate our totals. We'll start out with Dimitri the Cleaner. He has a combat value of 9. He ended up rolling a 2. So that's going to give us 1 success. We'll add in 1 success to our total. Next is Jane Doe. She has a combat value of 5 and she rolled a 7. So there is no help there. So both of those dice have been resolved. Sifu Khan, he has a combat value of 9. He does have the extra rusty cleaver, which is a melee weapon. That would give him a total of 11. So that'll give us a success. And that would produce another success on a 1, which he rolled a 9. So we've got 2 successes so far. That'll complete him. Paul Bailey rolled a 10. That's an automatic failure, so nothing we can do with that. Lee Watts has a combat value of 6. He rolled a 9. That's a failure. And the vehicle has a combat value of 6. We rolled a 9. That's also another failure. So as it stands now, we have a total of 2 successes. We'll have to see if we've got any action cards that might assist us. Well, I had 1 card that would give us 1 success, but unfortunately we're going to need more than that. We need 5 in order to complete this. So this is going to be a failure. We'll have to read the failure condition. And it reads, "The beast's vicious onslaught sends you toppling like bowling pins into the nearby brambles. Unrelenting, the bear charges in after you like a runaway freight train and ferociously mauls your group. Take 4d6 infected wound damage." All right, so we're going to roll 4d6 and assign that amount of infected wound damage to the party. The roll is an 18, so we have to disperse 18 points of damage amongst the party. All right, I've assigned 4 points of damage, infected wound damage, to Dimitri, Jane Doe, and Sifu Khan. Paul Bailey and Lee Watts each have 3 points. Now, infected wounds differ from standard physical damage in that it says these wounds get worse over time until death occurs. Rusted metal, infections, and rabid or venomous creatures all cause infected wounds. Each effects phase, characters with this type of damage must add another point. If this kills the character, they are discarded without their equipment. Healing infected wounds must take place in a starting town location. If this is a neutral faction, players must pay the bank 5 salvage coins. To heal in another player's town, consent must be given and a deal struck. Spoils and action cards that heal infected wounds can be used anywhere. So we're going to have to return back to our home base in order to repair this kind of damage. Now that resource deed used up 2 of our available 4 weeks, so we're going to run a move deed next. So we're going to roll a d6 and add our current movement bonus to that. That's 3. So we'll be adding 3 to the result. The roll is a 6. That'll give us a total of 9 movement points. And we're also going to play an action card called Leadfoot. Play during the party exploits phase. Choose any party to move up to 6 extra hexes. So it's not movement points, but 6 extra hexes. All right, we're going to make our first part of the move with our 9 movement points. And we'll move as follows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've moved 9 movement points. That gets us to a resource location. Then we're going to use that Leadfoot to get us up to 6 extra hexes. And that will return us back to our home base back in Michigan. So we've used up a total of 3 of our available 4 weeks, but I want to conduct a healing deed. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a penalty marker. We'll add a 1-week penalty to our player mat, and that will allow us 1 extra week of activity this week, and then we'll end up with 1 less week of activity in the next week. So that will be enough time for us to do their healing deed. And the healing deed costs 2 weeks. It says perform a party medical skill check and remove 1d6 damage for each success. Remove an additional 1 point of damage per character, excluding psychological, if the party is in their starting town. Radiation and infected wound damage can only be healed in a starting town. Discard 5 salvage coins to heal in a neutral town or pay another player who agrees to let you heal in their town. Healing cannot be substituted for an encounter. All right, well, we're going to do that. We're going to make our medical skill check. There's our roll, and we'll assign those to the character crowns and resolve our medical skill check. We'll start out with Dimitri the Cleaner. He has a total medical of 7. He rolled a 5, so that's going to give us 1 success. And we'll record the 1 success. We'll move on to Jane Doe. She has a medical of 7. She rolled a 6. That'll get us a success. Sifu Khan has a medical total of 6. He rolled a 5. That gets us an extra success. Paul Bailey has a medical total of 6. He rolled a 1. That gets us an extra success. Lee Watts has a total of 11, 12, 13, 14. That gets us an automatic success, and then a possible second success on a 4 or less. Well, he doesn't qualify for that, so we don't get one for that. And then finally, the semi-truck has a value of 3. We rolled a 7. So we ended up with a total of 5 successes. So we can roll 5d6 and discard that amount of damage. And we're able to add a total of 5 to that because we're at our starting town. It says remove an additional 1 point of damage per character if the party is in their starting town. All right, we'll make the roll. We've rolled our 5d6, and that amounts to a total of 20 points. We'd also be able to add an additional 6 in because we're at our home base, or I'm sorry, 5, because we're at our home base, 1 for each character. So that's going to clean up all of our damage. We only had a total of 18 points of infectious damage, and this roll will clean all of that up. That's great. And that was not such a good turn for us. We were fortunate that we were able to return back to our home base. We were within range of that in order to clear up this infectious wounds that we had from the Grizzly attack. All right, we'll move on with the turn. And the last step in the turn is the end turn phase. We're going to move our turn marker from 3 up to 4. And that will conclude our turn. And the current status is we have a total of 3 prestige. The Coalition of the Black Angel has 7. And the Syndicate has 14. So another 6 prestige from the Syndicate is going to sink us. On the Town Health track, we have a total of 39. The Coalition of the Black Angel has 41, and the Syndicate has 51. All right, we'll get set for our next turn, turn 4. We'll begin the turn with the effects phase, and our River Traders faction perk will kick in, and we're able to purchase a random spoils card for half price. Cards of Vehicle, it's a retro mini camper. We would be able to purchase it for 6 salvage. We only have 3 though, so that's going to go to the discard pile. We move into the town business phase, and we'll begin with our deal section. We're going to receive 1 action card. The card is Muster. Played during the end turn phase. Draw 3 character cards. They may replace current party members. All remaining characters are placed into your town roster, and that's worth 4 salvage. We move on to the resource production phase, and our current resources will give us +2 to town health and 4 salvage coins. It moves our salvage coins up to 7 and our town health up to 41. We move on to the auction house phase, where we draw 3 spoils cards, and we're able to purchase those for the listed price. And I'm going to purchase the classic 45 pistol. That'll cost us 6 salvage coins, and we're going to give that to Dimitri the Cleaner. He gains a cumulative +2 combat and +1 survival for every handgun that he has. So we'll purchase that. And we've equipped that card to Dimitri the Cleaner, so that'll give him a bonus for the classic 45 pistol. And one for that party equipment, 5 classic 45 pistol. So he's going to double his linked ability there. So he'll have a +4 to combat and +2 to survival. It's great. And now we'll move on to our town events chart roll. We're going to roll the 1d10 and consult the chart. And the roll is a 10. It says choose a resource you own. It reverts to neutral. All penalties apply. Well, I'm going to check to see if I have a card that will allow me to prevent that. And unfortunately, I don't have a way to cancel that, so we're going to lose one of our resource locations. And I guess we'll lose the one that's nearest to our location. That's going to move our resources down to 1, unfortunately. Not good. And now we're going to make a roll for the opposing factions. We'll start out with the Coalition of the Black Angel. The roll is a 6, and that will gain them 4 to town health and 2 prestige. And there will be a secondary effect. Draw and play 1 card from the red dot action deck. Alright, so the +4 to town health will move them up from 41 to 45. And their gain of +2 prestige will move them from 7 to 9. A red dot action card is Destroy Relic. Play during the end turn phase on an opponent. Select and discard 1 of their relic spoils cards. Alright, so that card will be played during the end turn phase. We currently do not have any relics in our possession, but if we were to get one during the turn, that card will be played during the end turn phase, so I'm going to place that on our player mat. And incidentally, as we have rolled a 10 during that town phase, the Curse of the Gypsy Queen is removed from play. It says on a roll of 10, this card is discarded, so we no longer have to add that +1 to our town roll at least, so that's something. All right, now we have to make the roll for the syndicate. The syndicate rolled a 2, and that's going to gain them +1 to town health. So that'll move their town health from 51 to 52. And now we move on to the financial period. We'll start out with our sell options. And I'm going to sell an action card called Muster. It says draw 3 character cards. They may replace the current party members. All remaining characters are placed into your town roster. I have plenty of characters, so we'll sell that for 4 salvage coins. The next step is our party exploits phase. Normally we would have 4 weeks available to us, but we have a 1-week penalty token from last turn. So we're only going to have 3 weeks available for this round. And we're back at our home base. I think what we'll do is travel to a resource hex and see if we're able to take that over. We'll begin with a movement deed, and our current movement bonus is 3, so we'll be adding 3 to the roll. The roll is a 1, that's modified to a 4, so I think we'll move to the resource hex that is 2 spaces to the southeast of our location. So we're going to spend 1 and 2 movement points, and we arrive at the resource location. And I think we're going to spend our last 2 weeks doing a resource deed, and we're able to select any encounter card that we wish. I guess we'll take a plains card and see what happens with that. The card's revealed to be Whacked Out Lush. Your group searches for the confirmation of some recent rumors at a rowdy local bar. A pair of rather large drunken yokels turn to one of you. My friend here doesn't like you. I don't like you either. The bar suddenly grows quiet as the patrons are mesmerized by the reenactment of the Moss Isley Cantina scene unfolding. The scarred one roughly shoves your friend. I'm a wanted man. I have the death sentence in 12 systems. His face contorts into an insane grin as he pulls a rusty shank. In an instant, he is on your body, stabbing and shrieking. Roll for a random character crown. On a 6, the whole party thrashes this drunk. Success. All right, we'll make a roll. The roll is a 3, so that will involve Sifu Khan, Kung Fu instructor. We begin the resolution by gaining 3 salvage coins, and then we're going to have to do an individual combat using Sifu Khan. So in order to complete this, Sifu Khan is going to need to get 2 combat successes. If he fails, the wound damage is going to be infected wound damage. Now Sifu Khan has a total of 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So he's got a total of 17 combat. We need to get 2 successes. So the 17 will produce 1 success. And then he's going to have to make a roll. And in order to obtain another success, he'd need to get a 7 or less. And unfortunately, Sifu rolls an 8. So as it stands now, we have lost that encounter. I'm going to search through our action cards and see if there's anything we can play to help us. And we're going to play the card Skill, My Boy. Play during the party exploits phase. A character of your choice gains 1 success to a skill check. And we'll make that a combat skill check, so that will give Sifu Khan his 2nd success, and that's enough to complete the task. So we'll read the success portion. It says, the barroom descends into a chaotic brawl. You emerge victorious after stabbing him in the eye with a broken bottle. The bartender curses loudly, and her staff force you to help clean up the mess. In the process, you locate a valuable item. Gain 1 spoils card. All right. And we're going to gain a 5.56 millimeter light machine gun. It's a relic, unfortunately. And that means that that relic is going to be destroyed at the end, during the end turn phase, because of the red dot card that is currently active. That's too bad. I'm not even going to bother assigning that weapon to any of our characters because it's going to be destroyed. We're out of weeks of time anyway. So, all right, it was a good battle for Sifu Khan, but we just didn't get any advantages of that. And now we'll move on to our end turn phase, and this is where that Destroy Relic card is going to come into play. Play during the end turn phase on an opponent, select and discard one of their Relic Spoils cards. And unfortunately, 5.56 millimeter light machine gun is a relic, so that is going to be discarded. And it's too bad because that would have given us +1 prestige, which we really could have used. But it's gone nonetheless. And that's going to end the turn. We'll move the turn marker from 4 to 5, and we'll begin a new turn. We'll begin our new turn with an effects phase, and that allows us our River Traders faction perk. We're able to buy a spoils card for half price. And the card is a practically new ambulance with obnoxiously loud sirens. It's a relic, but the cost is 29, so we'd be looking at a 15-point purchase on that. I don't have enough for that, so that vehicle will go into the discard. We'll move on to the town business phase, and first step is deal. We're going to receive an action card. And the card is Survival Instincts. Play during the party exploits phase. Any party or character gains 2 successes toward a single survival skill check. Has a value of 1. All right, that's a good card. We'll add that to our pile of cards. And incidentally, we've already paid our weak penalty, so that token can be removed from the last turn. We'll move on to resource production. Our resources have been reduced now, so we're only going to gain +1 town health and 1 salvage coin. So we'll gain a salvage coin, and our town health will rise from 41 to 42. We'll move on to the auction house phase. We'll draw 3 spoils cards, and we can purchase any or all of them for their listed salvage coin value. And we have an ultimate set of tools, wrist rocket slingshot, and experimental laser rifle, top secret weapon. Well, the only one we can afford would be the wrist rocket, and that would just be a simple gain of +1 to combat. It's a ranged weapon. I guess for the cost of two salvage, we'll take it. And I'll assign the wrist rocket to Paul Bailey. Next is going to be our town events chart roll. The roll is a 7. That's no effect. We'll move on to the OFTEC chart and roll for our opponents. First roll will be for the Coalition of the Black Angel. Roll is a 9, and that's going to add 7 town health and 4 prestige to the Coalition of the Black Angel. That'll move their prestige to 13 and their town health to 52. And then we're going to roll a d6 for a secondary effect. And the result is discard a random character from your town roster. We'll roll another d6 and determine who that is. And that's character 4. That's going to be Paul Bailey will be dismissed from the team, and we'll have to find a replacement. So Paul Bailey is discarded, and we've replaced him with Annabelle, Cybernetic AI, and Sleeper Agent. And now we'll make the roll for the Syndicate. The roll is a 6. That's +4 to town health and +2 prestige. There will not be a secondary event because we already had one and we're limited to 1 per turn. That moves the Syndicate's prestige up to 16 and their town health to 56. So we're quickly running out of time. And now we'll move on to our financial period where we can sell and purchase items. Well, I have nothing I want to sell at this point, and I don't have enough salvage coins to purchase any town items. So we'll move on to the next step, and that's party exploits phase. We'll have 4 weeks to spend during the party exploits phase, and we're going to begin with a move deed. The roll is a 6. Our current movement bonus is 3, so we'll have 9 movement points to spend during this move. And we're going to move out west, I think. We'll move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 to that resource location. And then we're going to spend 2 points and conduct a resource deed. 2 weeks. And I think things are getting desperate, so I'm going to try, we'll try a city radiation card, hoping that we're going to get some bigger rewards. And that card is revealed to be Rad Zombie Factory, Rad Zombies. The factory ahead constructed refrigerators before the Great War. Upon entering, you find it is a frustrating maze of corridors filled with collapsed walls and twisted girders. Exploring for hours, the grim silence is broken by a furious scream erupting from behind a metal door. Joined by the chorus of others, a violent pounding on the door begins, echoing ominously in the open space. As you back away, it bursts off its hinges, spewing waves of death from the darkened alcove. Blood-stained claws grasp desperately, and teeth gnash furiously as a horde of rad zombies lunge. Your flashlights briefly illuminate their pale, lifeless eyes before being dropped in the scuffle. All right, we're going to gain 5 salvage coins to begin. And viewing that card with, we'd have to do a 4 survival roll and an 8 combat. So I think we're going to play the card Making a Break for It. And the card reads, play anytime to discard your encounter or mission before any dice are rolled. Keep the salvage coins. You cannot draw another card in its place. So I think that's what we'll do. I don't think we would have been able to pass that 8-point combat check. So we're going to use that card. We'll gain the 5 salvage, and that will end the encounter. And we have 1 week remaining, and I think we'll take a encounter deed, which will cost us 1 week. And we'll draw the plains card, which is the terrain that we're in. Card reads, Raging Forest Fire, Environmental Hazard. The thickly intertwined vegetation is shriveled and dry, cracking under your boots. A severe drought grips this region. As dusk creeps toward the darkness, the sky is illuminated by a long series of blue chain lightning. The crash of thunderbolts follows as several strikes set the forest ablaze. It quickly spreads far across the horizon. Pitch black smoke wafts with the wind. The fires quickly merge, becoming a ferocious, raging inferno. The wind violently shifts in your direction. The immense blaze, fueled with the hellish intent, advances rapidly towards you. Run. And that's going to earn us 5 salvage, and then we're going to have to start out with, to complete this, we'll need to do 4 survival, and any damage we would take is going to be infected damage. And we're going to make our roll. There's our roll, and we'll place those on the character crowns and analyze the result. And we'll begin with Dimitri the Cleaner. His survival rating is 7 plus 2 extra for his link. So that's a total of 9. He rolled a 2. That'll get us a success. Jane Doe has a survival rating of 6. She rolled a 3. It's another success. Sifu Khan has a survival rating of 5 plus 1 for his link is 6. He rolled a 3. That's a 3rd success. And now Annabelle has a survival rating of 8. She rolled a 4. That's a success. So we've got our 4 successes right there. That'll complete that card, and we'll see what the success reads. And it reads, Your bodies are covered head to toe in soot, but you manage to escape, exhausted but alive. Your racking chest cough persists for weeks. While you recuperate, a group of travelers approach your camp. You trade water and supplies for information on a nearby settlement. Draw one action card. All right. The action card is revealed to be Ninja Smoke Balls. Play anytime to successfully complete all combat skill checks on an encounter or mission card, then gain 1 prestige. It's worth 4 coins. That's fantastic. We'll add that to our total. And that's going to complete our party exploits phase. We'll move on to the end phase, and we'll adjust our turn track from 5 to 6. And we're ready to begin another term, but we're quickly running out of time. The Syndicate is currently at a prestige of 16. The Coalition of the Black Angel has a 13, and we're currently at 3. On the town health track, the Syndicate is at 56. Coalition of the Black Angel is at 52. And we're coming up third at 42. So we've got lots of work to do. We'll begin with the effects phase, and then using our River Trader's ability, we'll draw a spoils card, and we're able to purchase it for half price. It's listed as a cache of combat fatigues, party equipment clothing, equipped to all party characters or none. This card may be utilized with armor. Okay, that would cost us 4.5 rounded up to 5. Gives us 2 to combat and 2 to survival. I think we'll do that. So we'll pay the 5 coins, and then that'll be a party equipment bonus for us. That's great. That leaves us with 12 salvage remaining, and we'll move on to the town business phase, starting with the deal section, where we can draw a action card. And that card is revealed to be Grandpa's Cough Syrup. Play anytime on a party. Each character heals 3 points from any form of damage. This includes any combination of physical, radiation, infected wounds, or psychological damage. Has a value of 4. That's great. We'll add that to our total. We'll move on to resource production, and we're going to gain 1 salvage coin and 1 to our town health. That'll move our town health up to 43. And next is going to be the auction house. We're going to draw 3 spoils cards, and we'll be able to purchase those for list price. We've got lockpick guide and tools for 8, U.S. Army Special Forces manual for 6, and a combat medic satchel for 12. Well, we have enough to purchase one of the lower price value items, and so we'll take a look at those. And I think we're going to purchase the Special Forces manual. That'll cost us 6. It allows us to discard after a failed combat skill check to succeed at it. This excludes player versus player. So we'll purchase that for 6. And as the card awards an extra psychological damage ability, we're going to give that to Jane Doe. She only has a 3 there, so we'll award her that book. Okay, we've given her that Special Forces manual, and now we move on to Town Events chart. We're going to make a D10 roll and cross-check that with the chart. Roll is an 8, and we're going to lose 1 town health. So that'll bring us down from 43 down to 42 on town health. And now we'll roll for the opposing factions. We'll begin with the Coalition of the Black Angel. Roll is a 6, and that's going to earn them 4 town health and 2 prestige. That will move their town health up to 56 and their prestige to 15. In addition, there's going to be a secondary effect, and we're going to have to draw and play 1 card from the red dot action deck. And the card is revealed to be Z666 Virus. Play during the end turn phase on an opponent's party. Roll 1d6 to determine which of their characters has been infected. Empty character crowns and 6s are re-rolled. Discard this character's equipment. They receive +8 combat skill, +4 health, and 2 armor. Then, beginning with the lowest character crown, they attack in solo player versus player combat. Damage to the zombie carries over to the next character crown in order unless the zombie is killed. Well, that's pretty severe card. And now we're going to make our roll for the syndicate. The roll is a 9, and that's going to add +7 to their town health and +4 to their prestige. Well, +4 to prestige will put them from 16 up to 20, and the syndicate is going to win the game. So the syndicate's token will move from 16 up to 20, and that's going to win the game for them. All right, we'll go back at the map and we're going to recap our game. Well, even though we lost, I have to say I really enjoyed playing this game. It has such a great feel to it. They really captured the post-apocalyptic feel for the game. The encounters are interesting and fun to play through, and just the whole dynamic. You actually feel like you are the leader of a post-apocalyptic group of people, and you're trying to manage those people as best as possible for finances and equipment and everything else. This game will definitely be coming back to the table on this channel. I hope to do a little bit better next time. I've learned quite a bit from this first playthrough, and I'm going to study and reread that manual one more time, make sure I'm not making any mistakes in the gameplay. And one thing I did learn is that I don't know if this is apparent or not, but it was to me. When you make during the party exploits phase, when you do a movement deed, when you complete a movement deed, you're not allowed to take another movement deed until you've performed some kind of an encounter. So I think what I'm going to do in the future is when I make a movement deed, I'm going to turn my token so that it is north-south, and that's going to tell me that I need to I cannot move that location until I take an encounter of some kind, either a resource encounter or mission deed or a encounter deed. So that was one thing that I picked up on late in the game after I kind of did a little bit extra reading in between turns. And so that's an important thing that I have to remember in the gameplay. Well, anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you will return back to the Solo Gamers Club for our next playthrough of a game. Have a good evening and a good night.